Well, this is BRP Connect, the tutorial slash editorial slash whatever. Anyway, you won't have to look at my face for very long. I did want to show a picture of it because some people had asked about it. And here's your typical disclaimer slide. There you go.
Key on. Well, we're letting it load. We're going to go ahead and start it up, see what happens here. I'll adjust this camera just a little bit. There we go. I think we got a smooth picture. We have to be back a little bit of a ways, but at least at this point in time, I think I finally got this thing figured out, although the camera's right smack dab in the way. So, anyway, this is the BRP Connect tutorial. And so hopefully this is going to work all the way through. So I have already paired my I've already paired to BRP Connect my headset. The reason for that is if you don't, I can't go through the tutorial. There's obvious reasons of that. So it makes sense. So this tutorial is based upon the fact that I will take you into those screens and show you where to pair. But at this point in time, we're going to have to do it this way. Otherwise, it would be a much longer tutorial. So now, I'm going to go ahead and hit the home button. It says, please connect the phone, which we can do at this point in time. The music that's playing is obviously the FM radio. So here we go, and we're back to, hopefully it will connect right now, except I didn't have the screen open when I connected the phone together, which is my mistake. Please connect phone, and then hit the button. There we go. So, if you have your headset connected, it's pretty stable. But hopefully later on I'll show you where it's not quite so stable for multiple reasons. So, I'm going to go into each one of these screens. There's the display screen, there's the customization, there's the language. I'm going to the bottom of the menus. I don't see a fault code. You can see what my finger's doing when I'm moving it. So I can go ahead and hit that button. I can come up to the About button. Okay, and you'll see on the right hand side a scroll wheel. And I scroll all the way down, and that's good. And this screen, the last screen, I had to hit the home button. This one I got to come back one. So now I go up to language. Okay, and of course I'm English, so we'll just leave that where it is. And we'll come back one. Go up to customization and go over, hitting the right button. And we got range distance, or you turn that off. We'll come back over to customization. We'll scroll up the units. Again, note the right arrows. I've got Imperial or I have metric. And it's easy to navigate. If I wanted to select metric, I can select metric. I want to go back to Imperial, I just select it. Okay, and then I hit back to the left button again. The display, I prefer the dark mode, so I'm going to leave it on right there at this point in time. The brightness is set at midway. It's not too bad, it's not too dark, it's not too bright. We'll go back to the brightness. There again, as you can see, we can go up just by moving the cursor. We can go down by moving the cursor. I got it set halfway. We move back to the left, we go to the mode button, and here's where you can change it. You can either change it to automatic. I happen to be in my garage at the moment. That's why it's dark. It doesn't pick up any light unless it's raining outside. We can do light and hit the button, or we can do dark and hit the button. And I'm going to force it to dark at this point in time so we don't get it moving around the rest of the day. So, keep going back to the left. I'm back to the settings mode. I can go up to Bluetooth. Go across, you'll see that I've got a phone paired, which is my iPhone. Okay, and you have to have that done. It doesn't say the name of your phone, which is a bit surprising, but at least at this point in time, I could disconnect it. The phone is already connected. Disconnect? No, I don't want to disconnect, so we're going to cancel that. There's the phone that's connected. We're going to come back. Here's the rider helmet. Okay, and you can see that it's a PackTalk Bold. I don't want to disconnect it. You're going to almost have to have that connected in order to use BRP, and that's one of the problems with the application is if you're tooling down the highway and all of a sudden your Cardio or Cardo unit, the battery goes dead, you're going to get kicked out of BRP Connect. Okay, that's unfortunate, but that's the way that it is. Passenger helmet, I don't have one paired at this point in time. I could pair one here. I'm not going to because it'll get the infinite circle of death looking for a Bluetooth device when one doesn't exist. I do have one, I just don't have it connected. So now we go back, we come up to clock, we can hit over to the right, you can put it in 12-hour or you can put it in 24-hour, and you can change the times. So we'll come back in here, and I can change it to 24, I can change it back to 12, those are my only two options. I can go in here and change the minutes, or I go over and then hit the home button and it's set. I come back to the left, and I have music, I have Bluetooth audio, okay. It's going to play Billy Joel, Eyes Without a Face. That's what I've got set up at the moment. The one thing I don't like about this is that I cannot tell Cardo or tell Siri to connect to something different. I can say, hey, Cardo, play the Beatles. And notice, doesn't care, won't change. This is one thing I'd like to BRP to work on is say, hey, look, you've got a perfectly good voice-activated unit. Why does it not work when I connect to BRP, and why does it work when I'm not connected to BRP? Ideally, that would be a nice feature to have. Okay, so I can tell it to jump track by just moving to the right. I can raise the speaker volume up, or I can lower it down. I'm going to keep it down, obviously, at this point in time, so we don't have any conflicts any place. It is playing through my headset, although I've got the headset really, really low, so you can't hear it. Okay, so I can play a jump track, okay, or I can come back, Eyes Without a Face again. So I'm moving all around. This is great that it makes it a little bit easier, but quite frankly, I'd much rather have the Cardo voice commands to say, hey, or even Siri for that matter, play something different. So I'm going to hit the home button in and change from BT audio. I can scroll down to, whoops, it moved me on me. I could scroll down to auxiliary. I don't know anybody at this point in time. I guess you could plug in a 3.5 millimeter jack. It's going to look for something. There ain't nothing there to look for. So we're going to hit the middle and go back to home. We're going to scroll up. Whoops, excuse me. We'll go back into audio. We can go up to FM. It's already got the presets done. So I've changed it from FM, so now you can see that it's playing Stows, which I have no idea who that is. Oh, Casting Crows. I should know who that is. Anyway, I can change channels. I have more presets. All they got to do is keep going over. So there's actually two screens of presets. Nice feature if you plan on listening to FM. I don't. I've got over 4,800 songs on my iPhone. I'd rather listen to them than have to listen to commercials. But anyway, when you're on this screen, you can hit the home button just by pushing into the center. You want to go up? I got to get back in there. I keep remembering. Got to remember that I got to go out to it. Here's the equalizer. I'll go down to audio out. It says to the helmets. Okay, I already know that. Okay, I can go up to fade balance. Well, that doesn't do too much good unless you're playing it through the bike's speakers. I can go to equalizer, and you can see that I prefer treble. But you can see it's going back and forth, and the one that's selected is the one that's highlighted from that perspective. So we'll come back a little bit. We'll go up to auto volume. This is a nice feature. You have mid-range. It'll automatically, whenever your speed increases, very similar to what your car is doing. If your speed increases, you can tell it to set the volume increasing automatically as your speed increases. I have mine set at mid. You can go up and down. You can turn it off. You can set it anywhere that you want, simply by moving the joystick. And then there's the auto presets again for the FM radio, that percent. So there's music. So now I can go back up to stats, launch stats and trip. You can see the stats and trip for the A. You can see the traps. I just moved it to the right to the B, and you can see the total. One says 169.7, the other one says 173. I tend not to ride much except on the weekends because it's too hot in Texas, and I wait for the cooler weekends. And so in the last 4 weeks, we really haven't had too much opportunities to ride. But you've seen some of my results riding from that perspective. Now, to reset it, okay, you can't reset that one, but you can reset B. You can go down to there, and it reset. I had to push down to get it to go to the double zeros here, as you can see them right there. Okay, so now I'm just going to go ahead and hit the home button again. I'm going to go up to the phone, and it will show my call history if I deem it, and I don't want everybody to see my call history, so I'm not going to. Or the same thing with my contacts. I'm not going to show you my contacts, but you can get the idea that it's basically looking at the iPhone and looking for the contacts from that perspective. Okay, so that was real brief, so hopefully nobody's going to go look at it. And now I can scroll all the way to the top. I'm going to sneeze, excuse me. Excuse me. And hit Launch BRP Connect. Now, I have maps. I have music. So I can get in here. I can do Cardo Connect, which I'm not going to. I can do Fobo bike, which I'm going to show you what my tire pressure is at this point in time. It's going to say, there's Richie, sea to sky. Okay. It should read that fairly quickly. It's not wanting to move off of there at this juncture. So we'll hit the home button, and it's not moving off of there. This is one of the problems that I just do not like. At this point in time, I've got no way to navigate off of this screen that I can see. I can hit the home button and then hit the launch button to say hit BRP Connect, and then I can pull it all the way to the left, hopefully, not letting me move it. This is one of the many things that I just do not like about this, that once you select an app that is designed to be looked at, okay, and I'm hitting everything I can think of, finally pushed in on it, and it took me back out. But here's the thing. If I click this, I should be able to see it, and I got nothing. I can't go up, I can't go down, or vice versa. Okay, so I've got to hold the home button in order to get it to come off of there. All right, so the Fobo Bike 2 is not working. Maybe it will, maybe it won't. You really shouldn't be looking at your tire pressure anyway. You should check that out on your pre-ride walk-around. Now here's Genius Maps. I'm going to go back just by navigating. You've pretty much seen the music app in some perspective. There's now playing, there's songs, there's artists, there's albums. That's basically just a copy of the playlist that you have on your various phones, whether it be an Android or whether it be whatever the case may be. So I can hit artists, I can hit scroll through it, and I'm scrolling through the alphabet. Okay, so now I hit the home button and say Ingrid Michaelson, or I can go to NXS. I can go into that album. I can see all songs on the first album, and I can start playing it by simply hitting that button right there. Okay, so now I'm calling all nations. NXS should be going through the headset. Okay, which is great at this point in time. So it's 3 minutes and 3 seconds. You can see that. Now, I want to get out of this. Look at this arrow up here in the upper left-hand corner. Okay, that's the only time, when you want to do that, you've got to go all the way back, okay, holding the left arrow, okay, to get back to the start of all of this stuff, okay, and get back to there. So you're having to do an awful lot of navigation. Again, why would I want to do that, BRP, when I have a Cardo PackTalk Bold connected to my helmet, and I can do voice commands and it pull that up automatically. So now I go to maps. This is their interpretation of making certain that there is at least some semblance of normalcy for an Apple user. Okay, I would assume that the Google Maps is very similar, although I don't have a Google phone any longer. I haven't had one now for quite some time. There isn't much you can do here. You actually have to go in and set your trips and things of that nature ahead of time. You can see that I'm navigating around saying, give me, zoom in, if I wanted to zoom in or something along those lines. There's no GPS on it. That's the other thing. You guys will see in the future, when I start doing touring and start showing those videos. I wanted to get this one out of the way, get my cameras configured properly. But you can see that in this case, I can scroll up to the settings menu basically, and these are my options. I can either do standard, I can do satellite, I can do hybrid. I can do nothing else with maps. I would imagine it's the same with Google Maps, but obviously I cannot connect Google Maps at this point in time. So I want to go back. Okay, I'm back to this screen. What do I do now? Okay, well, hitting that button takes me back to there. If I hit that button again, it takes me back to maps. There's nothing on the screen that says hold it to the hard left. Okay, you got to hold the button all the way to the hard left. You're towing down the freeway at 70 miles an hour and you want to get away from the maps application, you've got to hit hard left and hold it there until it releases and gets to it. Okay, now the Cardo situation, or excuse me, the Genius Map situation, a little bit better look. Okay, pushing on the button takes me in. Okay, you can't really see the names. I'm going to zoom down. This is what's kind of neat is I'm not having to find the plus and minus, so the Genius Maps would be kind of neat, but it's not real accurate at this point in time. It's close, but it's not really showing where I'm at. It's about a half a mile off, but it's close enough because I am inside my garage. Okay, so I could come down here, go over there, hit that button and tell it to find my location, but I'm not going to do that because I don't want to give away my location at this juncture. I could do a search, okay, which is pretty much normal, okay, and that's the address that I'm on is the home button. Or I can come over here and say, where do I want to go? Or here's my settings, excuse me. So I got voice for Samantha. I have time and distance. I have map appearance. It's really not responding as quick as I'd like it to. Driver assist, show routes. Okay, I don't have any routes, and again, I've got to pull back to the left to get it to go there. So right now I'm parked across the street from, like I said, it's about a half mile off of my apartment. I'm basically sitting in the parking lot of Grapevine Mills Mall at this point in time. Or actually, I'm in my garage, which is very close to Grapevine Mills Mall, but not quite where that's showing because I haven't, shown you guys that location from that perspective. But anyway, it's getting more accurate the longer I sit here, but since I'm in the garage, it's not really found it exactly, but it's trying. Okay. So there we are at this point in time. I'm in Maps, and I'm going to try something, and I'm going to see if this does what I expect it to do. And that is, I'm going to go up to my Cardo, and I'm just about done with this tutorial. I'm going to go up to Cardo, and I'm going to turn my Cardo unit off. Because I got the volume so low, it hasn't said anything to me. It just said goodbye. So it disconnected from the map setting, or disconnected the Cardo unit, okay, at this point in time. And so I'm going to do a hard left and get back to it. Okay, I'm back to Genius Maps. The phone has been bouncing around a little bit. I am surprised that it is going to let me do anything, but it's, it is at this juncture. So I'm going to go ahead and hit that. I'm going to go ahead and hit home, and I've got music playing. A lot of good that does me because the headset's disconnected. But see here, it still shows Bluetooth audio is being connected and the helmet being connected. This is some of the failures in my mind with the application. It could be fixed. It's not Apple Play. I understand why it's not Apple Play. The reason it's not Apple Play, I'm sure, is one of money. If I were BRP, I don't think I would want to spend the money, okay, either on having to pay Apple and having to pay Android for an application that really is standalone in their own mind. So with that, that's pretty much, the tutorial. Now, I'll discuss in the summary how I actually have my phone set up most of the time, which is not to use BRP. As much as I hate to say that, it's just too clunky. It's not as quick, and as mentioned before, I cannot do or use voice commands with my Cardo headset, which I really would like to do. Thank you very much. I'll sum it up inside when I edit.
I don't think any of us bought a Can-Am with the intent that it was going to have a fully loaded Apple Play or Android Play or whatever, that kind of a thing. Um, I wish it were better. It's not. I'll go back to using everything independently, which is okay. You've seen the video. It's not the best video, but it's because my heart's not in it because I'm not going to use it. And I apologize for that. But the bottom line is that I promised to do this, and therefore I've done it. And so really, there's not much else I can say other than I just can't do it. Everything will be done independently outside of the application. That's just the way I have to do it going forward. And that's pretty much it. So I do appreciate you guys watching. Leave me a comment or a thumbs up or whatever. Thanks again for watching. Appreciate it.